I first discovered the power of debt, I was actually reselling my first items online. But before that, I was actually using debt to buy myself fancy clothes, fancy watches, fancy dinners. But then I would realize that at the end of it all, I racked up a $1,000 tab and I didn't have any money to make it back. And it was back when I was working at Subway. I was buying all these things. At the end of my paycheck, in the next 2 weeks, I would barely have enough to cover my credit card statement. But everything changed when I started using credit to make money. If I would use $500 to buy myself $500 of inventory for my reselling business, I was able to make at least $100 profit on top of the $500. All I had to do was just keep using the bank's money to keep making even more money, which allowed me to pay off my debt. So because of this change, I actually started leveraging credit for all of my business opportunities, and this allowed me to be able to make more money faster. The key concept to understand here is the only thing that changed from me making more money and me making less money was the amount of money I had available to use. So in this case, I started using OPM, other people's money. And what I quickly realized is that as soon as the banks gave me a specific amount of money, if I was able to pay back this money within a consistent period of time, they actually kept giving me even more money. So my $1,000 credit card went into $5,000, so on and so forth. And this all because this was helping build my credit. But then I thought, there must be a bigger picture. And by looking at the bigger picture, I ended up realizing that Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, the Bill Gates, all leverage this exact same system at scale. If you look at how their businesses are actually ran, they're actually getting billions of dollars in debt to be able to invest in their businesses. Feel free to fact check me, look it up, look up how much debt is Nike in. Search up Coca-Cola, search up Starbucks, search up any other company that you believe does not use debt. The difference between the top 1% and us is that they are using debt to get richer. And why do you think the banks let them borrow billions of dollars? Well, you see, the banks offer big incentives for businesses to be able to take billions of dollars in loans. One of those many incentives being tax incentives. If they take out $10 million in loans, then that $10 million isn't taxed. And the bank can use those $10 million as a collateral to be able to take a specific amount of equity in their business. So in return for the banks letting businesses borrow tens of millions of dollars, the banks also provide additional jobs and tax revenue for the government. So in this case, this actually helps fuel the economy. So don't you think that businesses in this case are an asset? Don't you think that banks would prefer to work with businesses because they are investing and growing into the economy? It's exactly how the system works.